Please, pretty please, just give us one more hour before you go to bed, so do not tuck in just yet. It is I, Denzel Snipes, the Cubfidential felon, and welcome to Cubfidential, where we have the best Cubs coverage after dark. We got a jam-packed show. We got a guest coming on with a bit of a surprise, bit of switch up for you guys for the first time ever. We'll have our Cubfidential or confrontation at the beginning of the show. But without further ado, I think our host has a bit of a message for a certain show out there. I don't know. Hey, you want to clue me in on what happened, as of late?
So Monday, our Cubbies, they had to fly east and play this game at Camden Yards.
They sure did.
A makeup game against a team that, is playing unbelievable baseball. But guess what? Guess who's playing really good baseball too? Our Chicago Cubs. We went to Camden, went ahead and we knocked the O's around a little bit. We won 3-2. And you notice how you don't see John Shear here right now. You notice he's running and hiding and nowhere to be found. He was with me about an hour ago. Didn't have a lot to say. Tail between the legs, because who got the last laugh? The Cubs. It seems that way a lot lately. Cubs are going out, beating everybody. Winning 2 out of 3 every series. I want to know where this team was the first half of the year, but, built in for the end of the year. But let's get started. Jay, let's get this show on the road. Who we got to lead off this week? We're going to start with a confrontation. So we got Jen going to lead us off against Candy, who's coming in this week from the South Florida Tribune. Welcome, Candy.
Thank you.
Look at John. Hang on 1 second. So John took his tail out from between his legs after a long loss, but you're too late. You missed your O segment. You're done. We'll see you on Monday night. So we're going to start this week with the confrontation, and we got Candy from the South Florida Tribune. We're going to talk about the Cubs-Milwaukee series. We're going to let Candy go first since she's the guest, and we're going to see what happens. Good luck, guys. Candy, you got 2 minutes to start on, why Milwaukee's going to end up winning the series.
Well, Milwaukee's in the lead. Let's face it, Milwaukee's playing for something. Milwaukee's playing for that playoff spot. We need the series. We need the wins. We need to take it to the Cubbies and show them who's boss. We're up on top. We live in the north. They used to call it Wrigley North, but we took it back. It's Miller Park. We're bringing it home. We need fans in the stands, and we're going to beat those Cubbies. We're 83 miles separates the two of us. We're playing, like I said, we're trying to win this series and go to the playoffs. So we need this game, this series. We need every game in series. But that's why we're going to win it. Our hearts are in it to win it. So, Jen, it's you.
All right, Candy. Thank you. So, Jen, you got your 2-minute rebuttal. Let's see what you have to say. Make us proud here.
I know there's 83 miles between us, and thank you for giving me the exact mileage because I was not aware of that, so I appreciate that. But I gotta say, even though you have some good power hitters, so do we. We're actually finally starting to gel, shockingly. And we've been on kind of a run here. So you guys, you're playing for something. But where we do win already, we already have butts in the seats. And we're going to bring it home. We're going to continue to win. You guys may take one game. I know that we have a couple of games coming up this week. But we won this last series last week. You guys have the all-time series. But we're going to, I got to say, I think we're going to bring it home. We're going to win because we got a, manager like coaching for his job right now. So that's something and some players trying to stay. So Contreras is relieved now because he's not been relieved as a Cub. So kind of like that pun. I just came up with that. And I think we're going to win it. I'm sorry.
All right, Jen. Good job there, Jen. So we got Candy coming in with her minute rebuttal now. Go ahead, Candy. It's on you.
So let's face it. I think Craig Counsell is doing an excellent job. I have to give David Stearns, he went out and he did what a lot of fans thought was unthinkable, and trading Josh Hader, a very popular pitcher, but we couldn't afford him. So we went out, we got some good talent for him as opposed to letting him go at the end of the year. We need this game. This team needs motivation. I think Craig Counsell is up for it. And they're going to do it. They're going to pull it off. It's at home, which makes a huge difference at Miller Park, or now American Family Fields.
All right, Candy, thank you. So, Jen, you got your minute rebuttal. It's on you now.
So I will say Milwaukee is probably one of the very few cities that does have a very good following themselves. However, no team in the MLB has a following like the Cubs do, thanks to WGN. That being said, we really need to gel. We have been gelling. We need to win out. We have several players that, like I said, they're really relieved that they're still with the team. They're playing lights out right now. The team is gelling. They finally took mine and JB's advice and started singing Kumbaya in the locker room. And we are going to win. Like, they just have to continue to win because, I mean, they have to kind of prove to the Ricketts that they can't move the Cubs anywhere, if that's what the Ricketts end game is, because we all know they haven't been the greatest owners lately. So just saying, that's where we're going to end up. We're going to be in the winning seat. And sorry to tell you, y'all are going to have to get into the playoffs with another team.
All right. So we're going to bring up the convicted felon to choose our winner. Who do you got this week?
Oh, man. Well, both of them definitely came on repping their teams. Candy, of course, being a staunch Brewers fan. And of course, Jen representing the Cubs along with us. And, they both definitely have belief in not only the front office but the manager, even though David Ross is not exactly a favorite right now. But again, great points by both of them, and it was really hard. You sure we can't call a tie this week?
Listen, you picked the winner, so it's all on you. I think that's a cop-out, though. I mean, there's no ties in baseball. We put guys on second.
Yeah, we just put guys on. We put guys on second, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I'll go. Oh man. Well, I'll award it to Candy. Put in full faith in the team. Of course, much love to Jen. Has full faith in the team. Also, a little bit of an edge goes to Candy this week. So congratulations to our guest.
All right, so let's bring Candy back on for a quick minute, and so she can tell us a little bit about where we can find her and about the South Florida Tribune.
JD, I have to say that typically there isn't a tie in baseball, but I was at the only all-star game where there actually was a tie in Milwaukee, believe it or not. So my name is Candy. I'm from the South Florida Tribune. You can find us at www.southfloridatribune.com. We have our own YouTube channel, South Florida Tribune. You can subscribe to our numerous shows, and you can find us at Tribune South, or you can email us at southfloridatribune@gmail.com. If you want to advertise with us, you can call Scott at 954-304-4941.
So, Candy, before you go,
yes,
what do the Brewers have to do to take care of the Cardinals and win the division? They're back 4.5 right now, so it's a bit of a struggle. But what do they have to do?
Our offense has to come. The bats have to come alive, and it can't just be Talese and Rowdy. We need more bats. We need Christian Yelich. We need all of them, and then we need our pitching. And to be honest with you, we really have to stay healthy, because I think as a small market team, we have to stay healthy because we don't have the backups that some of the big market teams have, because they have the payrolls to have the backups and pay for the backups and the big names. So I think that's what we're going to do.
And if you happen to do that, I mean, you'll probably make the playoffs as a wild card either way. You guys are in good position. If you do that, what do you have to do to beat the Mets or the Dodgers, which are two stacked teams?
We got to bring everything we've got. Council's a really good manager, and I think he really strategizes well. So I think that really helps us. But again, if we don't have the bats, we don't have anything. So we've got to get out of our slumps, and we've got to, start hitting the ball and putting hits together, not just one hit in one inning. We got to put them all together so we score some runs.
Well, I definitely appreciate you staying up late and coming on tonight, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
And you're always welcome back anytime. So
even though I'm a Brewers fan?
Even though you're a Brewers fan, this way, we got to beat up on the enemy. Jenn wants revenge, I hear.
I'm sure she does. Thank you very much for having me. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
All right. So next, we're going to go to our very own residing Denver Bronco fan, Mr. Jordan Sports Scoop Long. Jordan's got a lot of action tonight. Going to be talking about a few different topics, but I want to let you know. I want to see how good you are with your Broncos history. I just booked somebody for Sideline Sports. What do you know about Carl Mecklenburg?
Guy should be in the Hall of Fame. One of the best linebackers we've ever had. I mean, sure, you could say Von Miller, but I mean, he was part of that, the defenses in the 80s. I mean, I've advocated for him to get into the Hall of Fame, and he hasn't yet. I don't know what it'll take, but definitely deserves a spot. He is one of the best Broncos to ever play.
Well, beginning of September, watch Tuesday, 8:30. You'll get a chance to see him. He confirmed today. So I look forward to speaking with him. But let's talk about some Cubs baseball, because we don't want to talk about the Broncos game this weekend. It was bad.
Yeah. At least it's only preseason. That's all I'll say about that. But
Exactly.
Yeah, let's get into this series. That was a little bit, made me a little more happier than the Broncos game. But we played Washington. We won 2 out of 3. We talked about last week, we had to beat the teams that we need, that we have to beat, who's lower in the standings. Well, Washington is one of those teams, and we actually took 2 out of 3.
So with the series against Washington, I mean, Washington's in the cellar in the National League East, which is probably, it's hard. With the National League, you could say the West or the East are both phenomenal divisions. They're really stacked top to bottom. It's hard to say which one's better. But, the Nationals are just definitely at the bottom of the NL. And, taking 2 out of 3, is that acceptable?
I mean, I would have liked to sweep, but 2 out of 3, I'll take. I mean, it's better than, taking 1 out of 3 or going the other way and getting swept. But 2 out of 3, yeah. I mean, you look at the game on Monday, that was a game we probably should have won. We let that one slip. We took a 2-0 lead in the first when Hap homered and Rios tripled, scoring Suzuki. So, and then we added a run when Hap homered it. So we were up 3-0, and what ended up happening? Well, our bullpen kind of didn't do their job, gave up 4 runs in the 5th. We actually tied up the game in the 4th, or in the 7th, I should say, when Suzuki singled, scoring Madrigal. But then again, our bullpen failed us again. Went up by 1 in the 8th when Cruz homered. That was Washington. And we had a chance in the top of the 9th, just went 3 up and 3 down. We had missed opportunities in this game, and I've talked about you with you in some of these series where we've had missed opportunities that could have ended up helping us win the game. In the 4th, with Rios at 3rd and 2 outs, but Morel grounded out, ending the inning. We could have scored there. Could have been the difference. 6th inning with 1 out. Horner was at 2nd, but we couldn't get him home. So it's just a missed opportunity there. And then offensively, we didn't do a whole lot in that game. 7 hits, 4 runs, 3 walks. The one thing that keeps bugging me, and I've talked about this on the show, is the striker.
So you're talking about me. At least you admit it. Yeah.
Yeah, I always talk about you, JB. But 14 strikeouts. Why? What are we doing wrong? I don't know if some of these were just plain old swing and misses or just looking. And I've even talked to Steve about this, Steve Schwanda on this show, that, you
Stevie
know,
Bats.
exactly. If you're not, swinging the bat, you're not really trying. You're just looking. It just bugs me how many strikeouts we've had. But pitching overall, we could have won this game. If you look at it, 8 hits, 5 runs given up, 1 walk. I like that. Only 1 free base, 8 strikeouts, 2 doubles. Stroman, though, he pitched all right. 4.2 innings pitched, 6 hits. He gave up 4 runs, but all unearned. So, I mean, that's our fielding. We had a couple of errors, but 5-4 is just a tough pill to swallow when you look at it, and we had chances to win.
So, I mean, I coined a phrase this week during the Milwaukee game on, I want to say Saturday it was. And it didn't end up happening, but they pulled the pitcher, and I was watching as I was doing like 8 other things, so I didn't get a chance to sit and watch it. But they pulled the pitcher, was pitching pretty well, proceeded to give up the lead, ended up tying it up, and they won in extras. And I coined the term Ross loss. Do you consider that game last Monday a Ross loss?
I don't put it on him necessarily, because you did look at Stroman. He had 4.2 innings pitched, which is a little bit low, but then you look at the fielding and it wasn't very good. So do I put that on a Ross loss? Not really. I mean, yeah, he might have pulled Stroman too early, but then again, you're looking at giving up 4 unearned runs. So is that really on Stroman? No, but in the end, I'm not going to put it on Ross, just because the fact of the matter is we still had a bunch of innings left and we couldn't get the job done.
So you lose the first game of the series, you come back and take the following 2. What, with that was the secret for, and I mean, this has been in general the way the Cubs have been playing since the trade deadline. How were they able to rebound and come out so confidently and make sure that they took care of business and won the 2 out of 3 like they needed to take another series?
Well, you look at Tuesday, and honestly, it's one that we have talked about as extra innings. We haven't liked the rule. Luckily, they ended up winning in the 11th, but it took 11 innings, even with the ghost runner. So obviously something went right there. We had 10 hits, 7 runs, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts. Again, I don't like the strikeouts from our offense, but that's okay. Pitching wise, this almost could have been a Ross loss. The reason why I say that is because Steele actually started the game, pitched 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, and we used 6 relievers. You're looking at that, and that's high, but at least we got the win there. And then if you look at Wednesday, whatever, with our bullpen, they actually saved it in the end. I mean, we got a 3-2 victory, and earlier in the year that could have been a loss. But you know what? We won that, and actually Wick ended up getting the save. Only pitched 1 inning, and nothing happened. So I was very proud of that. I mean, a 3-2 ball game, that is so close, where Washington could have won that, but our bullpen finally said no. So it was nice to see the bullpen actually playing well.
So, I mean, right now, down on the farm system, there was a big call up to AAA. Alexander Canario went from AA up to AAA Iowa, which we're going to be in September. He may still be there as long as he doesn't get called up on the 40-man roster, which I don't believe he will. Tell us a little bit about what this young kid's doing.
He was actually part of the Chris Bryant trade, which I totally forgot, because, last year, let's face it, we were in first place and then we gutted the whole team. So I forgot this guy was part of that. But in the minor leagues, he spent last year with South Bend Cubs for 42 games and 182 plate appearances there. He hit .224 with 9 home runs, 1 triple, 6 doubles, and 28 RBIs. He started there this year, and honestly, he was crushing the ball. He only had 100 plate appearances, which is actually phenomenal for him to get called up to to AA and then to AAA. But in that time, he smacked 7 home runs, 6 doubles, 22 RBIs, I should say, and a .281 batting average. And then he went to AA, which he was crushing it for Tennessee in 81 games. He was hitting .248, 24 home runs, 2 triples, 18 doubles, and 61 RBIs. So if you look at it, the total for this year, and this is why he was called up to AAA, He had a batting average of .256, 31 home runs, 2 triples, 24 doubles, and 83 RBIs. And then if you look at it in the field, for South Bend, he was at center field for 6 games and right field for 12. And he didn't have an error and one outfield assist at center there. And then at right field, 2 errors and 2 outfield assists. I mean, I could see his game kind of improving a little bit there. But then when he was called up to Tennessee, played left field for 6 games and didn't have an error with an outfield assist. And then at right field, 22 games played at the position, 1 error and 4 outfield assists. In center field, that seems like his position that he should play because he was comfortable with it. 54 games in Tennessee. The only problem is 2 errors. But I like the strong arm with 3 outfield assists. And I'm glad he's going up the ranks. It's kind of seeing what we actually got back in the Chris Bryant trade. I agree with you. He'll be in AAA for a little bit. Will he get called up? Maybe. The way he's playing, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the majors either at the end of the year or maybe, hopefully, next year when they actually need to call somebody up.
Yeah, I mean, so with getting a guy like that back for Chris Bryant, do you feel that, it was a positive on the trade? Do you think the Cubs won the trade looking at it right now, or is it still too early to call?
I think right now it's still too early to call, but the fact that he's moving up the ranks is showing his potential. We have to wait until he gets into the majors, called up to the Chicago Cubs, and actually plays, I want to say, 80 to 90 games. Then we'll actually know the return. But I'm happy with the way he's developing, and that's all you want is to see a guy that you trade for develop even in the minor league system. So he is developing, which is a good sign. Hopefully we'll see him in the majors, and depending on what he does, then we'll know what return we have for Chris Bryant.
So, I mean, looking at that, when do you think he's projected to make the team?
I would have to say, I would love to see him get up there this year, but I'm going to say it's going to be next year, probably in the middle of the season, when you can actually say, oh, we need somebody up there. Well, that was I don't know if that's mine or your computer. But either way, I could see him being brought up probably by the end of the year this year, or even, I'm going to say, the middle of the year next year.
Okay, so you're thinking possibly next year? That's interesting. I'm Brian. I think you got to say it's a win if the guy going right now. Generally, from what I'm covering any baseball, guys don't usually go. Usually, as they get older, they go minors. We'll see what happens as he goes for his long-term success playing for the Cubs. But I think, I'm excited to see what this kid can do. So, we're done. So, Smiley wants to.
I would have to say, with Smiley being in his first year with the Cubs, his record is 5-7 with an ERA of 3.47. I like the ERA. He doesn't strike a lot of batters out and doesn't give up a lot of walks. 71 strikeouts and only 19 walks. I think you do keep him for next year. I think it's a good idea, especially for a third or fourth pitcher on the in the rotation. So I do think we have to keep him.
I definitely hear you on that. I think we'll see what Mr. Ubbs says in a few minutes. Jordan?
There, I can hear you now. It's like going in and out.
That's where can people.
All right, you can find me at sports-scoop.com, where I have a blog that I write Mondays through Thursdays with podcasts and Fridays. Of course, here on the Cubfidential, I am also on the NBA and NFL carousels, and find me on Twitter at SportsScoop1.
Sounds good, Jordan. Have a great week, and let's go Cubs.
Thank you, JB.
All right, next, the one coming in.
Hey, you sound like Leia is trying to ask for Luke for help. Come on, you're my only hope.
Coming in out still.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. Luke, you're my only hope. Help. But no, how you doing tonight?
Doing.
Dude, you're mute.
Switch
There you
mic here. If that works. You hear me any better?
go. A little. Sounds pretty good. Sort of.
So let's get right to it.
Yeah.
Let's talk, with what's going on with the Cubs going with, you got Rick Sutcliffe for your,
That, see, this is what's thing. I always tell this to people. I grew up, my first recollections of the sports was 1984. That's Celtics, Bears, Cubs. And one of my first recollections was getting Rick Sutcliffe from Cleveland. So he would go 16-1, undit sweep. But he goes 16-1. But thing about him, he was, 9 complete games. But the thing that you get with him over his career, and he was there 7 years, it's the fact that he never was he got complete games. Like, for instance, in 87, he was 13-14, but he had 12 complete games. Like, in 86, he was 5 wins and 14 losses, but 4 of those wins were complete games. It was kind of craziness. You know what I'm saying? It's like, right. You can have this thing. It's like he never kept a real consistency. He was 171, 139 in his career. But it was like, you'd see that he had 20 total wins between Cleveland, and he was 4-5 in Cleveland, go 16-1 in Chicago. But then you see him go 8-8 the next year, then 5-14, goes back to 18-10, goes to 16-15. It was just back and forth. He kept the consistency of the pitching, but he kind of just went along with the team. Like, if he was it's like if he had a really bad record, his ERA went way up. He was trying too much. It kind of reminds me of what I talked about with Kyle Hendricks this year before he got shut down. I was saying he did not, if I see him striking out people early, that means he's going to have a hard time. Remember when I'd say that? And see, it was one of the things, it's a little different with Sutcliffe, but then you'd see him go along with the team. His ERA go up because he's trying too hard. He was a great pitcher for the Cubs, but the consistency could have been better. There was better. There's obviously was Maddox. There was obviously ones that were better that kept their consistency. But Sutcliffe, he was fun to watch. When he was winning, he was great to watch. The Big Red Baron,
No, for sure. One of the best that there was at the time. So, when you talk about complete games, now, how many complete games would he have with Ross as a manager?
He wouldn't get past the 4th inning because they had that bubble wrap. I'm still believing. It's like I'm in shock that there's no Hendricks, considering he throws 86. And it's like, to me, it makes me wonder just how much. And I'm going to change up one of my topics on Thursday night for Pundits Pundit. I really am, because it's time that we got to start talking. And I'm going to talk to my other two, Jay and Jen also about this. We got to start talking about these pitching, some of these pitching areas, these pitching people, these managers that overprotect, because a lot of these pitchers are getting hurt. Walker Buehler's out for the year. The guy's got a career 46-16 record. He's on his 2nd Tommy John.
Yeah, it's insane to imagine. And Tommy John surgery is not the curse it was when Tommy John had it. It was great that he was able to continue his career, because before that he couldn't. But nowadays, it's not uncommon for a pitcher to have 1 or 2 or multiple Tommy John surgeries.
Well, one of the issues that became a problem is there was a kid over in Vanderbilt, a Korean kid in Vanderbilt, or I think that Wake Forest, who passed away. He did an elective Tommy John surgery and died on the operating table. And it's like, This is the issue. This is why. This is one of my big things I go after with DeGrom, with the media and everything. It's not going after him. Along with it is another thing. It's a lot of these camps, a lot of these baseball camps. It's like we're teaching them to blow their arms out. We're teaching them to blow their arms. It's like these kids are doing elective surgery so they can throw faster instead of doing control. Like I said, Walker Buehler's 46-16, and yet on a second Tommy John. I mean, this is not necessary. I mean, maybe it's necessary that he hurt himself and he had to go get one, but a second? Something happened when he was 11, 12 years old that they had, or 9 years old when he's throwing curveballs. Something happened in there.
It's just wild to think. Let's switch topics. Let's talk about this week's This Cubs for You. And if you can lower your camera a little bit so we can see you. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to see my pink shirt, I know.
Got to see you styling.
Absolutely. Franmil Reyes. You know, when I see him, 6'5", 265 pounds. The thing, you know, when I take one look at the guy, you know what I think? I think of if Andre Dawson was in 2022 with this training regimen. Because Andre was about 6'2", 225. And he was the monster that ran away from everybody if you went to the mound. You get my point? Remember Eric Schau?
No, exactly.
Yeah, he ran everybody off. He was scary looking. And he was 6'2", 225. Now, this is 6'5", 265. And it's like, I look at Franmil Reyes, I absolutely look at Andre Dawson from a new generation. As far as that look, that body. It's like, I wish he was a little more disciplined with the bat. He's like 229, but he's got a whole lot of power. And he's got a whole lot of power, and it's like, it's going to be fun to watch if we can. I'd love to see him get to about 258, 260.
Right. You know, he's definitely done something right in the last few weeks. He's, you know, whether it's just that he's gotten comfortable with where he's playing, but the whole team just seems to be settled in. They feel, I guess they all know who's going to be there till the end of the year. And they're all playing for positions for next year, you know, hopefully be staying in the majors or staying in Chicago. So they seem to all have calmed down and doing what they should be doing.
Well, you look at this. If you keep Ian Happ, you go get another hitter. Go get another hitter with some pop. If Reyes stays, you get Patrick Wisdom. I still want to. If you get a new manager, I still want to see Suzuki as number one. And it's like you get all of these. I want to see. Here's the thing. Now that I see Reyes, I'll take Reyes or Morel as number 4 and 3 as Wisdom. Just get some spots right in that lineup, and you're going to see some real hitting. And it's been decent hitting, but you're going to get some real consistency. If you're going to get some real consistency if you get the right players in the right lineup. So,
question for you. Joe Girardi was in the broadcast booth Saturday.
Yeah.
Do you think Ross feels any pressure knowing Girardi's in Chicago?
Oh dear God, I hope not. I don't want Girardi. I'm sorry. No, no. You know, the biggest thing is Girardi's been there, but it's like we already know he's in the booth, and we already go there. But really, let's put it. I'm the one that says over and over that Ross needed more time. I've told you that 1,000 times. He needed somewhere to go to the minors and learn. And I know you get Girardi there. I want to win a World Series again, and I don't think it's Girardi. We need I almost would. I know he's going to retire, and I know he's old and he's a drunk, but I'd almost take La Russa before that because at least there's a World Series there. I'm ready. The thing is, this isn't the time where you're looking for that first World Series. The Cubs have got the World Series now. I want to start seeing the Cardinals in this whole thing. You know what I mean? I want to start seeing 40 years with 32 winning seasons and constant playoffs and constant being in it. I want to be that. It's time to start getting there now that the Cubs have got their World Series.
I definitely hear you. So where can people find you when you're not here?
Sunday nights, Basket Bros with Jay, with Will, and with Dom. Tuesdays here. Monday nights during the season with NBA Carousel. Megan Price's NBA Carousel. We're Thursday nights so far, Pundits Pundit. We might have to switch up with the NFL Carousel coming in. We're figuring that out. And then I'm also working on it. I'm also going to be like one of our nights. We're going to have Scott Morganroth on as the Pundits Pundit probably the next week. So we're working on that. And I am working on a movie with TJ Sanson, The Quickening. So lots of things going on.
Very busy, man. Well, Jacob, thanks so much for coming here, Mr. Ubbs. We'll see you
Yep.
next week. But
You got it.
Let's hope
Take care of yourself.
winning. Sounds good. So this was the abbreviated edition of Cubfidential. Running a little short tonight. Missing some key players. We got Stevie Batts not around tonight. He's on assignment. And, we'll be back next week, Tuesday at 11. Make sure you're here. Make sure you're watching all the Sideline Sports shows 7 nights a week. Definitely make sure you're checking them all out. But until then, this is Cubfidential. We'll see you next week.